We are very, very excited and blessed to have Miss Laura Hernandez here today. Laura is an amazing business coach and lead generation specialist. She helps female coaches sign high-ticket clients in 30 days. So today she's going to talk about how to have high conversion rates and close premium clients and doing it on a sales call with ease. So welcome, Laura. We are so excited to have you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's nice to see you.
Yeah.
So fun.
I would say, actually, let's define what a high ticket client is.
That's a good point. Let's start there. So what I consider high ticket is something in the 4-figure range, right? So if you have something that's 1,000, maybe to 5, 6, 7, 8K, that is what I would consider high ticket. And we know that they go way beyond. There's some 5-ticket and beyond, but I keep it around. The clients that I work with do their programs between 3 and 6K. So let's just start with that as a baseline. And I think most people can understand what that price rate is for one-to-one coaching programs.
Yeah.
And you feel like because it's high ticket, like over $1,000, $3,000 to $5,000, a sales call is part of the process in most cases.
In most cases, not all cases, but yeah, in most cases, there's usually is some sort of a sales call, whether you get on Zoom or I've even done them over phone calls because not everyone can do Zoom, but there is that sort of interaction where half the time you're just answering some last minute questions and kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for people who don't know you very well, if you're just, jumping in their DMs and you haven't had a long conversation, I would think that, they're going to want to talk to you if they're going to spend $1,000 or over.
Yeah, you go and test drive the car before you go and buy the car off the lot, right? If I'm going to drop 5K, whether my financial situation is I'm Jeff Bezos or not, it doesn't matter. That's a commitment, and there's that energy exchange of trust. I'm going to send someone quite a bit of money. I want to know who it is that I'm talking to and vice versa, right? I think that it does need to be reciprocated both ways. I would like to know that I'm a good fit for my client as well as my client is going to be a good fit for me. Energetically, spiritually, physically, emotionally, because you're going to spend a lot of time together for the next 8 to 12 weeks, roughly, right? Maybe 6 months. So that's why I think those sales calls are most important, because I want to see before we get on our weekly calls or whatever your structure looks like, do we vibe?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's a commitment for both of us.
So I guess that really takes us to the start of this, as far as like having, high conversion rates. It really starts with knowing who your ideal client is and then having a lead generation strategy that is going to generate those leads. And that's where you start with your clients. Am I correct?
Yes, that is correct. So since I help ambitious female coaches who are looking to sell their programs, their high ticket offers, it all starts with a lead. You can't really do much of anything until you have someone to sell to, right? Most of my clients come to me with either they don't have an offer at all or they need a lot of clarity in what that offer is, because it's really important to hook our audience right off the bat. I don't have to tell you how short our attention spans are these days, right? It's important more than ever to at least stop the scroll and then hook them, to get them into your pipeline, to get them into your space, to want to see more about your content and who you are and what it is you can do to help her or him or them, right? So first, we have to clarify our offer and get crystal clear on what we do and who we help. Now, we can expand on that, and that's obviously what we do. I don't just help ambitious coaches find clients. Right. I do many, many, many other things. But if I were to say all those many, many other things, I'm going to lose you.
Yeah, I get that.
It's that simple, and that's okay. We're all very busy people doing very amazing things, right? So since there's only 24 hours in a day, we've got to work with her to get her 1 to 2 liner elevator pitch right off the bat. And then what we can do is build the content, write that amazing content, whether it's short form, it's reels, YouTube videos, it's a color block post, whatever that is, different content, right? There's so many different types of content. We get that in front of her audience. So we have to find out who her audience is and where they are.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? If I'm teaching ambitious female coaches, I might not be putting up my content in, an automotive group. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. Right. So we've got to really source those groups and find where our people are.
Yeah. And that can be really, really tricky.
Yes.
Because you don't want to be, I should say, you want to be in front of them, but there are, like, if you go like the Facebook group route, if you go into other people's groups, there's rules. If you start your own group, you have to have a strategy for that. So that's where I feel like it gets kind of muddy for people. I know I need to find them,
Mhm.
but where are they? And how do I do that? What would you
Right.
say to
So
someone
we
who's-
know that there are out there because there's 3 billion people on Facebook using them every month. It's insane how many people are out there.
Right.
And with the algorithms changing, and I love the algorithm, I know not everybody does, but I'm just a nerd for it. So I actually like to tell my clients that make it your friend, right? It's there to work with you, but we have to understand how to utilize it. So it starts with content, but it also takes time. And a lot of people are very, very quick to say this doesn't work if
Right.
things aren't happening in, 6 seconds.
It takes time no matter what platform you're on. But
Yeah.
yeah, having realistic expectations is really important.
But I love that though. I love that confidence. It's like we all have the best product and we want to get that in front of the world because it's going to help change your life.
Right. Yes.
But we're also competing with so many other people and with 70 million active Facebook groups and admins. There are so many things going on, but when we get the right content and we start sprinkling it in different places, and it's really important to look at your analytics and take notes and have spreadsheets or documentation, however that looks like for you, to see what's working the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
How do I know that? Well, I have documentation. I have that charted down. And then when something hits, go with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because
Right.
I teach how to go viral. I teach about engagement. But fun fact, 90% of my content gets crickets.
Right.
And that's great because that's the market telling me
Right.
analysis. That's the market telling me this isn't what's working right now. So I can mark it up the list and go with it when the 10% hit. And then you get those people that you can have relationships with and start connecting. That's the gold.
Yeah, but do you think people kind of take those 90% of crickets as no? Like,
Sure.
I don't think people realize, and I want to use the word fail, but like for lack of a better word, but I don't think people realize how many times an entrepreneur fails every single day. So you create content that falls flat. You have a sales call that doesn't end the way you would hope for it to end. But I think the true entrepreneur is someone that has that spirit to get up and say, okay, that didn't work. I'm one step closer to figuring out what will work. And I love that because you don't have to have, not every piece of content you create has to be a winner. You just have to get to the point where you're finally getting those few golden nuggets that are bringing in your ideal client.
You can fail or you can fail forward.
Right. Yeah.
Failing is amazing.
Yeah. I love that.
It's not a
concept.
negative thing. It's a
Right.
good thing.
Yeah. It means you're trying, right?
I'm trying. It's progress.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
doing something.
Yeah.
You're taking messy action.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if you feel like you're not getting any engagement and people aren't seeing your stuff, let me tell you, people are always watching.
Yes. Yes.
And a lot of us will get DMs or we'll get emails from people we've never met, we don't have a relationship with, but they know us, right?
Yes.
So we might think that 90% is no, but it isn't always the case.
Right.
Maybe that one piece of content didn't perform as well as you had expected it to in a certain period of time. That's not a fail. It builds, and we have to be patient and keep doing the things.
Yes. Yes.
We have to keep doing the things and then do the other things. But once you get traction and time is going to go on, the dominoes fall. And that is such an amazing feeling. And the overwhelming feeling of getting like a lot of people that want to book with me, or it's a good problem to have.
Yes.
But I wouldn't have this problem if I didn't put in the work.
Right. Right. So after you kind of help them with their content and their strategy and understanding that they've got to put out a lot of content that's not going to hit, where do you take them from there to get them to the point where they're consistently closing, high ticket and have a good close rate? Where do you move from the content?
Connection, engagement, connection before collection. We need to have conversations because these are actual human people on the other side of a screen, on the other end of a keyboard.
Yes.
I don't know where that disconnect is. I know that it's difficult for, not as much now, but being a human being trying to fit things into a digital little space on a two-dimensional flat screen was something I really had to work at.
Yeah.
Because I'm a whole person. I'm a three-dimensional person trying to get a message to just your face or just content. So what do? We have to engage. We have to be genuine and have actual conversations to get to know each other. Sales is the last thing on my mind.
Okay, I love that.
And I get to know someone, get to know her first.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Connect, conversation, communicate. Those C's, those big C's. Yeah.
The C's of C's. Yeah. And I feel like people, not to date ourselves, Kirsten, but people our age aren't used to being out there and sharing so much, because in the early days of social, it was just bring people information. And so we would gather articles and tips and whatnot and just share them. But now people want to see, they want to learn about who you are.
It was more linear. You would put something out.
Yes.
And then people would hopefully read it or see it. Now, especially with, the pandemic, we need more human interaction. We're craving it. Like Facebook communities are huge right now. Networking events are huge right now and that's when we build that know, like, and trust factor.
Yes. So what are your tips for building connection? So what do you recommend? So after someone engages with your content, where do you direct them to go from there?
That's a good question. There are so many places that we are online. If you're an entrepreneur, maybe you have an Instagram, maybe you have a freebie, you send them to a landing page. I feel like it depends on each person that you're talking to, because we have to meet people where they're at. So let's say I'm talking with someone who's brand new. She hasn't even started her business yet, but she's looking into going into. I might direct her to grab a freebie on starting a business, which I don't personally have right now, but that would be an example. If there's someone who's a year or two in their business and they're still not getting clients, but they have a program, they have a course or two, they already have things, I might say, okay, why don't you come over to the DMs, let's chat and see how I can help you there. Maybe there's different content where I would send her to, but really, first of all, I would say, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Is it okay to reach out in the DMs? Right? In a private message, and just kind of start the conversation on a human level. And then say, is it okay if I ask you a few questions and see how I can help you? Because we need to meet people where they are at now.
So I love the concept of just like saying hello and asking if it's okay to have a conversation with them and then offering to help them. So this is someone's commented on something you've done, on a post that you've created. And so now you're saying, hey, let's see if I can actually help you. What questions do you have?
Yeah, but there's a caveat to that, right? Before we just kind of say, hey, can I see if I can help you? Really, the point of that question, in my opinion, is to let her know I care. I'm asking for your permission.
Right.
I know I can help you. I already know I can help her.
Right.
If she doesn't know me, right, let's start becoming friends first so that I can see where she's at, so I know what to offer, how I can help her, and go from there. So I appreciate all sides of entrepreneurship and business, but for me, I want to give value first and ask first. Before I'm asking of something from her, I'd like to say, is it cool?
Right.
Is it cool if we chat? Because a lot of people are missing that step. And that's a huge, massive step.
So after you kind of open up that conversation and then you are giving them resources, where do you feel like you go from there? Because I want to get to the part where, like, with closing them. So we're working our way up to that. So where do you go from there?
So here's the juicy stuff, right? Pre-qualify.
Okay. Yeah.
We have to ask the questions before we jump on these calls.
Yes.
Pre-qualifying is the biggest step that my clients are missing.
Yeah, it's interesting because you do want to pre-qualify them before you offer them the call. And then you're also kind of pre-qualifying them when you give them the link to book the call where they're filling out the questions for the application. How you do that. Let's talk about that first. How do you qualify them in a conversation before you invite them to a call?
I have about 7 to 10 questions that are very specific that I ask in a way that flows naturally, but I like to do this within 24 hours. Usually I'll be talking with someone and we'll get a few of the questions in, but then life happens. She has to go make dinner. I've got to go pick up the kids, right? So we'll pick up. But another thing too is you got to follow up, right? Sometimes we're talking with so many people in the DMs that we forget. So I use automated software that helps remind me, oh yeah, I was talking to this person. So, but you don't have to, but there are 7 to 10 questions that I ask every warm prospect before I even consider sending her my booking link.
Right.
That's something that I teach in my paid programs. But the reason why I do that is because I lived and learned. I got ghosted almost 100% my first year because people didn't know me. They didn't see the value. And I would show up and I'd sit there and be like, okay, cool. I'm nervous. I'm sweating. I want to give value. I want to sign this person. Right. And then they didn't show up. So then I'm like, oh, this isn't working. I give up. And I went down that black rabbit hole. Right. It's just very dark. They said there has to be a different way. So when I learned to start pre-qualifying and I'm interviewing, basically that's my application process, right? We do the voice notes. Voice notes are huge because now it gives that human element where we're not just texting.
Right.
You can hear me. You can hear my voice. You can hear how I sound. So when you see my post or my face or my content, our brain can put together a 3D person.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I think people forget that they can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that leave the voice message. And you're right. It brings it like a 2D, 3D, element to
It's
the
powerful.
conversation and the relationship.
Yeah, for sure. Why aren't we doing more voice notes? This is more personal that way.
Right.
And that's another huge thing that helps with my conversion rate as well. Because when I leave a voice note, guess how she responds with a voice note?
Yeah.
There's that level of comfort now because
Right.
I started that, and then she balls in her court, so she'll throw back what I'm putting out there, and that's where our energy is matched, and that's huge.
So what is the percentage of times when they don't reply with a voice note?
Most often they do. I don't know, maybe 10 to 20%. It's pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's maybe because they just can't. They're at work or they're
Right.
maybe sleeping or whatever. And that's fine. I'm not going to leave a bunch of voice notes. And if she doesn't leave them back, I'm going to mirror her behavior.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. I just don't want everyone to think, okay, I send a voice note, and if they don't send a voice note back, I've done something wrong, because it's always that percentage, right? There's always, like you said, maybe they don't like doing voice notes, so they're always going to text you back, or like you said, the baby's sleeping or something. So
yeah, but it's important to mirror and read the room.
So like up to this process, how many back and forths do you think you've had with the potential person that you want to get on a call with?
Quite a bit of back and forth. Like I said, I try to do it within 24 to 48 hours to keep that momentum going. And, if she's excited enough to talk to me, I want to keep that going because I know that she's having other conversations with other people.
Right.
But if I know that I can help her at the level where she's at, I try to do it as quickly as possible. But with those 7 to 10 questions that I ask, once she checks all my boxes, that's when I'll send the link. And I have her book pretty soon. I think it's within like 7 days. Because what I have found is when I had my whole month open, they forget.
Yeah.
Or they don't show up. They didn't show up because they forgot who I was. It wasn't as important to them at the time. So I try to do this pretty quickly. That sense of urgency was a game changer for me.
Okay. And do you also go through another list of questions that you have them fill out when they're booking the appointment?
Not anymore.
Okay.
So
the onboarding process, once we've said, yes, we're going to work together, I do have an onboarding process where I can custom her program for her better. So there is another series of questions, but in order to get on the call and get to the sales part of it, I pretty much take care of all of that in the DMs.
That's fantastic. This is so good.
Yeah.
Golden little nuggets of things that people may be out there doing most of the things, but sometimes there's the really, really important things. And if they're not getting checked off, then that could be the problem.
Yeah. So on the sales call, what are you doing that you feel like really makes a high conversion rate?
I ask a lot of questions and then I shut my mouth and I let her talk.
Yes.
Because as women, and I've worked with men as well, there is something where we feel like we have to fill the void, because what I'm doing is I'm letting her think.
Yes.
Right? Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, you guys. So I'll ask some questions. Really what I'm doing is kind of reiterating what I've already asked her. But when we get on Zoom, again, it's that element of now, okay, so we've texted, we've got the black and white. Now we've done voice notes. But now I get to see you use your hands and I get to see you sit up. I get to see you smile, right? I'm with you live on that Zoom call. So now it's about as personal as we can get. Mm-hmm. So I'll re-ask some questions, maybe in a different way, and see if something new comes out that she didn't say in the DM. So ask questions, but then be quiet and let her answer.
Yes. I think this is where people kind of have that differentiation between that salesperson that's manipulative and talks and tries to strong arm you into buying something. But sales is really more of a listening position, right? You're really listening. And you're trying, because that person will sell themselves if you've got the right solution. They'll often sell themselves by.
And this is what I like to tell my clients when we're talking about the sales call process, how to handle the objections. We got to love those objections because they're real, But one of the things I say is don't sell to her. Let her buy from you.
I love that.
Right?
Oh, yeah,
it feels better. There's less resistance.
Yeah.
I don't want to sell to you. That's a lot of pressure on me.
Right.
And I don't need more pressure than I already have in my life. But if I do my job and I've given value, I've answered questions, I've gotten to know her and vice versa, she wants to buy from me.
Yes.
There's something different about those little words too. And
So true.
so she thinks, and she's like, wow, who are you? You're amazing. Like,
Right.
add to cart. I don't know what you're selling, but I'm buying it, lady, because she's felt heard and listened.
So when you're talking about having a high conversion rate, do you track your conversion rates? Do you help your clients do?
I'll be honest, I actually don't.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think if you were to have to guess, do you think you close 1 out of 4, 1 out of 10? Like, what do you think your close rate would be? Because it sounds like you're doing a really great job at pre-qualifying them before they go on the call.
About 80%. We've already pretty much discussed what the call is about. The call is basically, I'm already sold. Like, we've already decided that we're a good fit. So pretty much my calls, it's like a 2-part system. So the first call is real quick, kind of get re-ask those questions on Zoom, like I was saying. I've already asked questions in DMs. Now we're going to do it face to face, quick and dirty. Let her think about anything else. Then we book the next call within a day or two. And she already is aware of what this call is,
Okay.
She knows that she's going to get on the call because she's ready to sign or ask any other questions that she may have about working with me.
Okay.
So I've already really sold. So I would say 2 to 3 out of 4, easy.
Okay. So that's awesome. So you're actually doing a 2-part sales call.
I usually do, yes.
Okay. So you're just, again, the first call is really just going over what you'd already asked them and just kind of doubling down on that. What does your second call entail?
That's going to be a little bit longer, usually 30 to 45 minutes, because the sign-on process takes some time to do signing and, payment process and things like that. But really, I just want to sit with her and ask her what else I can do to answer any questions she may have that she didn't think about. Because when these DMs start, I mean, this is a good, could be a good week or two.
Right.
That has happened until that closing call. So I don't like to rush things. I don't like to be rushed. So maybe she's thought of something that she wants to ask. So really, I'll say there's another list of questions that I'll ask her. But really, I'm just solidifying and clarifying what we've pretty much already done.
Right. Yeah, but it is important to feel like that call is about them asking questions, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it feels like it's more about them and less about you.
Right. It's right. It's like a reciprocal interview process, right?
Yes.
What do you stand for? Let me interview you too. I think a lot of people are missing that as well.
So what other advice would you want to end with? Anything else you want to add to this? This has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I've so
right.
enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my pleasure. Don't be robotic.
Okay.
Be you. People come for you, right?
Yeah.
I used to think I had to go live and do my hair and do my makeup. And if I show up with one eyebrow on, people can relate to that. And it's funny, right? We're laughing. That's comfortable. Show up as you are. Just take messy action. Don't wait till it's perfect. We know that saying. If you wait to do anything till it's the right time, you'll wait till you're dead and it'll be too late. Just show up as you are.
Yeah.
Like attracts like. People will meet you where you're at too. And it's so easy that way. It's less overwhelming. It's less pressure. It's fun. And that's, we do business with people we know, like, and trust.
Yeah. And I think that at the bottom line is it's fun. Like when you're really having fun, I think things just flow so easily because you're in that place of joy, right? You're in that vibration.
So true.
Yeah.
Yes, people want to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. They feel that you're happy and you're loving life. And yeah, absolutely. Well, Laura, this has been fantastic. We are so grateful that we got to spend this time with you today.
Thank you. Me too.
Oh my gosh, you are a genius. You are full of all those golden nuggets. I love it.
I'm learning just like everybody else, but thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Of course.
So again, I'm Kirsten with Six Figure Business Coaching. That's my business partner, Jeannie.
So thanks everyone for being here.